Something strange is going on with Oprah Winfrey's South African school for girls. Started spreading rumors that girls are disappearing from the school. According to these rumors, several students from the school have gone missing.
Yo, so why am I hearing that Oprah had a school for girls and all of them went missing?
A couple of pets as well. Yeah. A dog and a cat with interesting names, to say the least.
Yeah. That's Oprah.
That's Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay. Named after the Oprah, and your cat's name is?
And Gail.
But Gail, okay, Gail.
These are my girls. These are my girls.
Favorite meal for him?
When he was growing up, his favorite food was pork and beans and Franks.
Mm-hmm. Really? Mm-hmm. You still like them?
Yeah. It was the fastest. Like things for you to.
I was there for a Crash for the movie.
Yeah.
And basically she said something about not agreeing with my music, but she thought I did great in the movie. And of course I was up there with the whole cast of Crash.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't necessarily feel like that needed to be said. You didn't agree with my music. And even if you don't agree with certain songs I made, say you don't agree with certain songs, don't say you just don't agree with all of my music.
Right. That you had become increasingly paranoid. Would you say you were paranoid?
Sure. First of all, what is a black man without his paranoia intact? You might win $100 in a poker game and be on the subway. You're going to look over your shoulder. They just said in everything I had $50 million. That's like making me a marked man.
So did you go to a psychiatric hospital?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
Who? It's me. I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid,
But you were stressed out. That's why.
No question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you.
And I heard on the street, Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot.
Yeah.
Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. Tired of hearing that my entire career, 20 plus years in the game, and I hear the same thing, and I see what you do for another production, and when it's time for us to go to bed, you don't have any money. They play in your face. And I'm just supposed to smile and grin and bear it and just keep, enough is enough.
What is that black dick connected to? That black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I was up by some who had no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk too fucking much. It would me not to say the real shit. It would me not to say the real shit. You are not paying me equally. You are not treating me fairly. So y'all can suck my if I had one.
Something strange is going on with Oprah Winfrey's South African school for girls.
Go look and see what happened to them girls.
So Oprah opened the school all the way back in 2007. And since the school's opening, it has been marred with many different controversies. You see, shortly after the school opened, a matron of the school was charged with touching several of the girls in a very inappropriate manner. When the crime eventually came to light, Oprah herself went to fire the school's head mistress. Then, in another incident that happened in 2011, law enforcement investigated the body of a newborn that was found in one of the students' bags. Apparently, one of the girls at the school gave birth, but there were no charges filed against her after this incident. There were also other scandals the school was involved in, like in 2009 when 7 students were suspended for harassing their classmates. And now there's a new scandal that the school is known for, as many people online have started spreading rumors that girls are disappearing from the school. According to these rumors, several students from the school have gone missing. But as of right now, nobody is sure why these rumors have started, as there is currently no news reporting that there have been missing girls at Oprah's school.
Something unexpected is happening around Oprah Winfrey, and the internet is spiraling with theories. From decades-old celebrity feuds resurfacing to new viral rumors surrounding her South African Leadership Academy, social media has turned Oprah into the villain of every trending thread. But what's real, what's exaggerated, and what's pure online chaos? Today we're breaking down the history, the drama, the celebrity receipts, and the internet speculation that refuses to die. Oprah Winfrey has spent decades as one of the most powerful and beloved figures in entertainment. But lately, her name seems to spark more controversy than comfort. Somewhere between her unparalleled influence, her complicated history with certain celebrities, and the internet's obsession with tearing down icons, Oprah has become the unexpected centerpiece of a new wave of online chaos. Every week, it feels like she's trending again, sometimes because of resurfaced interviews, sometimes because of celebrity callouts, and other times because the internet has cooked up yet another theory about her personal ties or her South African Leadership Academy. And the wild part? These conversations aren't coming from one corner of the internet. They're coming from everywhere. Old hip-hop beef is being resurrected. Past interviews are being clipped and recirculated with new context. Long-standing criticisms about favoritism, gatekeeping, and Hollywood power dynamics are being re-examined under TikTok's magnifying glass. Even unverified rumors and conspiracies, some of them completely disconnected from reality, are going viral as millions of people suddenly act like Oprah is the final boss of every Hollywood storyline. How'd we get here? How did a woman who built an empire on empathy and connection become the center of so many feuds, theories, and heated debates? How did the queen of daytime television transform into the internet's go-to subject for celebrity grievances and speculative conspiracies? And most importantly, why is the world suddenly revisiting every uncomfortable moment, every tense interview, and every misunderstood scandal all at once? Today, we're diving into the whirlwind of celebrity clashes, resurfaced receipts, long-standing criticisms, and viral rumors that have turned Oprah Winfrey into one of the most polarizing conversations online. Let's break down how we got here and why Oprah has become the lightning rod for a brand new era of celebrity drama. As Oprah's empire grew through the late 90s and early 2000s, her influence was almost unmatched. But so was the cultural divide between daytime television and the rising world of hip-hop. At the time, Oprah's audience skewed older and more traditional, and her show leaned heavily into self-help, book clubs, and inspirational stories. Meanwhile, hip-hop was exploding into mainstream dominance with raw storytelling, aggressive themes, and artists who weren't always seen as safe guests for a daytime talk show built on relatability. That cultural gap turned into real friction, especially with one artist who refused to stay quiet, 50 Cent. During his rise, when he was breaking chart records and reshaping the industry, 50 publicly expressed frustration that Oprah didn't support rappers like him, saying he felt she dismissed the genre and the people who made it. He argued that her show catered to an audience that wouldn't accept him, and over the years he repeatedly accused her of being out of touch with the realities hip-hop represented. These statements became headlines, memes, and running commentary across entertainment outlets. Fans debated whether Oprah was simply being selective about her platform, or whether she was sending a message about who she was willing to co-sign. And as 50 continued voicing his opinions in interviews, the tension took on a life of its own, growing from a single disagreement into a long-standing cultural conversation about who gets invited into mainstream media spaces. Then came the ludicrous moment, one of the most widely discussed examples of this dynamic. In 2005, Ludacris appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show alongside the cast of Crash to promote the movie. Instead of focusing on the film, Oprah questioned him about lyrics in his music, sparking instant debate. Some viewers praised the conversation as honest and necessary, while others felt she singled him out in a way that overshadowed the movie itself. But what really fueled the fire was what happened afterward. Ludacris later said that parts of his responses were edited out, making the exchange feel one-sided. Oprah, for her part, stated that she had concerns about rap lyrics in general. Not Ludacris personally, but by then, the moment had already created waves. Fans grabbed onto it, as another example of the tension between Oprah's brand and hip-hop's boldness. Those two moments, 50 Cent's vocal criticisms and Ludacris' interview experience, became early symbols of a larger cultural clash. And with Oprah's massive platform on one side and some of hip-hop's biggest personalities on the other, every comment, every interview, and every public reaction raised the stakes just a little more. By the late 2000s, the divide wasn't just about Oprah and individual rappers anymore. It had become a full conversation about representation, respectability politics, and who got welcomed into the mainstream spotlight. And even now, decades later, those old tensions resurface every time Oprah's name comes up in connection with hip-hop figures who still feel she never truly embraced their world. Cut to the early 2000s, a time when celebrity interviews weren't just interviews. They were cultural events. They shaped public opinion, launched movements, and defined reputations. And few interviewers carried more weight than Oprah. Enter Dave Chappelle. At the height of his fame, and the height of the conversation surrounding his abrupt exit from Chappelle's show, Dave sat down with Oprah for what would become one of the most re-examined interviews of the era. For many viewers, this moment became a turning point, a cultural flashpoint that still gets clipped, dissected, and debated today. Dave talked about burnout, pressure, mental exhaustion. He spoke candidly about the entertainment machine and the toll it takes on artists. But the energy of the interview, that became the subject of countless online discussions. Some fans felt Oprah questioned him in a way that seemed skeptical or dismissive of his concerns. They point to moments where she pressed him on the rumors, the money, the choices he made, suggesting she wasn't fully on his side. In their view, the tone felt too sharp, too probing for someone who was clearly struggling. But on the other side, Oprah's supporters saw something completely different. To them, Oprah wasn't interrogating, she was doing her job. They argue she was asking the tough questions the public already had, giving Dave an opportunity to clarify the narratives swirling around him. They point out that her interview style, especially at that time, was built on directness. She didn't shy away from difficult topics. That was her signature, the reason she was trusted by millions. And in their view, her conversation with Dave was no exception. Two groups, two interpretations, one interview. That's the power of a cultural flashpoint. It becomes bigger than the moment itself. Fans who already felt that Oprah didn't mesh well with certain artists viewed this interview as confirmation. Meanwhile, those who admired her approach saw it as yet another example of Oprah holding space for messy, complicated truths. In hindsight, the Dave Chappelle interview became a kind of Rorschach test. People saw what aligned with their existing beliefs. For some, it signaled friction between Oprah and a segment of artistic culture. For others, it was a professional journalist navigating a delicate conversation. But what mattered wasn't just the content of the interview. It was what the internet later did with it. Years after it aired, clips resurfaced online, layered with captions, reactions, commentary, and personal interpretations. What was once a single televised moment became a recurring piece of evidence in a larger narrative about Oprah's interviewing style, one that either rubbed certain artists the wrong way or simply revealed her commitment to asking the questions no one else would. And in the evolving story of Oprah's public perception, the Chappelle interview sits right in the center, a moment where interpretations split sharply and the cultural conversation around Oprah took on new complexity. The conversation shifts into the 2020s, the era where Hollywood is being re-examined from every angle. Pay equity, power brokers, gatekeepers, the invisible systems that influence who gets roles, resources, and recognition. It's in this environment that Oprah's name resurfaces in old and new debates. Taraji P. Henson, one of the most respected actresses of her generation, shares emotional stories and interviews about navigating pay disparities and feeling undervalued throughout her career. She never accuses Oprah personally, but her comments spark massive discussions online. Clips go viral. Fans connect dots. Some insist there's a pattern of certain black actresses being undersupported in the industry. Others argue Taraji is highlighting long-standing systemic issues, not pointing fingers. But online, nuance disappears, and Oprah's name is pulled into the center of the whirlwind. Then comes Monique, whose dispute with Hollywood has stretched across more than a decade. Her conflict with Oprah, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry is well publicized. She claims she was unfairly labeled difficult, a word that can sabotage a career. She recounts phone calls, conversations, moments that she believes contributed to her professional isolation. Oprah has largely stayed silent, offering only brief comments over the years. Monique's voice grows louder. Podcasts, interviews, stand-up routines. Fans frame her story as part of a broader narrative. Powerful figures in entertainment clashing with outspoken black performers. Whether or not that's true, the perception spreads like wildfire. Online, these parallel narratives, Taraji's emotional reflections, and Monique's long-running grievance, merge into something larger. A pattern, many claim, but again, a pattern built on public interpretation, not proven misconduct. The stakes feel heightened, the conversations more charged, the spotlight on Oprah brighter than ever. And then, almost inevitably, 50 Cent steps back into the picture. Social media is his arena. Conflict is his currency. And he has history with Oprah that stretches back to the 2000s. When Taraji's interviews begin circulating, 50 Cent posts about them. When Monique resurfaces with new comments, he amplifies those too. Memes, captions, screenshots. Every post gets millions of impressions. Every comment section becomes a battleground. The more he posts, the more the storyline shifts from isolated celebrity disputes to a revived, decade-spanning saga. 50 Cent positions himself as a defender of Taraji and Monique. Fans cheer him on. Critics say he's stirring the pot. But regardless of the motivation, the effect is unmistakable. The narrative grows bigger, louder, more dramatic. Suddenly, the old Oprah hip-hop friction isn't old at all. It's trending again, re-energized by the algorithm. And where there's viral conflict, the internet rumor machine is never far behind. This time, the conspiracy theories center on Oprah's school in South Africa, despite the fact that the allegations circulating online have no verified evidence behind them. But on platforms built for speed, not accuracy, speculation spreads first and facts arrive later. The reality? 2 documented incidents happened years ago, and both were handled publicly and legally. There was the 2007 case involving a dorm matron who was accused of misconduct. Oprah herself spoke about it at the time, expressing heartbreak. The staff member was arrested, and the school underwent a review. Then, in 2011, there was another isolated incident involving a student and alleged inappropriate behavior. It was reported, investigated, and resolved through local authorities. But as clips and commentaries bounce around TikTok, X, and Instagram, these older events become distorted. Dates get blurred. Roles get misidentified. Rumors evolve into sensational claims with no basis in public records. The school becomes an easy target for misinformation, an anchor point for exaggerated narratives. Online, the line between criticism, speculation, and outright fabrication dissolves. And Oprah becomes the focus of a conspiracy ecosystem that thrives on shock value. So why Oprah? Why does she, more than almost any other celebrity, become the center of these firestorms? Part of it is the formula. Extraordinary power plus global influence plus selective privacy equals a perfect environment for rumor culture. Oprah is one of the most influential figures in modern media. She commands immense respect, wealth, and authority. For some, that makes her a symbol of success. For others, a symbol of power to be questioned. And then there's the silence, her tendency to avoid public back and forths. She rarely responds to rumors. She doesn't hop into trending conversations. That absence becomes a vacuum, and the internet fills it with whatever narrative is most entertaining or dramatic. The result? Oprah becomes a canvas onto which people project their fears, suspicions, frustrations, and cultural critiques. She becomes the shorthand for the Hollywood elite, the hidden power structure, the celebrity authority figure. even when these depictions oversimplify the reality of a complex industry. In the end, Oprah's story isn't just about individual celebrity disputes. It's about how the internet reshapes public figures into mythic characters, heroes, villains, symbols, targets. And once the online machine decides someone fits that role, it doesn't let go easily. And now, after decades of interviews, public feuds, online narratives, resurfaced clips, and a swirl of rumor and reinterpretation, we arrive at the final moment. The point where the documentary turns the camera back toward you. Because Oprah's story, her legacy, her controversies, her cultural gravity, isn't just shaped by what she's done or what celebrities have said about her. It's shaped by how we react, how we interpret, what we choose to amplify, what we question, what we believe. So before the credits roll, let's sit with the central tension of this entire journey. How does one woman become a symbol, a target, a hero, a villain, a mogul, a mentor, and a mystery, all at the same time? Is it the power she holds? The influence she accumulated? The personalities she clashed with along the way? Or is it the nature of the internet? An ecosystem where nuance evaporates and narratives grow larger than life. We've revisited the rapper era, the interview flashpoints, the modern-day disputes, the rumor factories, the online conspiracy engines. And through it all, one thing becomes clear. Oprah means something different to everyone. To some, she's a trailblazer. To others, a gatekeeper. To many, a complicated figure in a complicated industry. So now we'll leave you with the question at the center of this entire conversation. One that has no single right answer. Which of Oprah's celebrity clashes surprised you the most? And why do you think she remains such a polarizing figure online? Let us know your thoughts. Not to assign blame, not to declare a villain or a victim, but to understand how modern culture shapes and sometimes distorts the people we put on pedestals. Your perspective is the next chapter of this story.